So, what is social engineering? It is about manipulating human behavior and psychology to get someone to do something that they wouldn't normally do. So, that could mean getting someone to reveal sensitive information like password or bank account number, credit card number, getting them to provide access to system on building, or getting them to perform some kind of action like clicking a link, or wiring money. How serious this is in this world? So the scale of it might surprise you. So 98% of cyber attacks involve some kind of social engineering. In 2022 alone, 84% of organizations were hit by a phishing attack, and up to 90% of malicious data breaches trace back to social engineering. And the average organization is being targeted by over 700 social engineering attacks every single year. So this isn't a, niche problem, it's the real problem that people face every day. You might be wondering what is the actual damage? It is really bad. Is it really bad? When a social engineering attack succeeds, the consequences hit the individual or organizations from every angle. So there is a direct financial loss. Real money is gone immediately. Then the recovery cost is also significant because recovering and cleaning up after the attack is not cheap, and productivity level drops, businesses fall apart, and maybe worst of all, your reputation gets damaged. And reputation is genuinely hard to rebuild. So let's look at this table from the FBI's 2004 report, which breaks down the losses by crime type. So investment fraud topped 6.5 billion dollars, and business email comprise came in at 2.7 billion. Tax support scams caused over 1.4 billion, and even romance scams, confidence scams, where somebody simply builds a fake relationship online, took away $672 million. So these scams always start with people. So why do people fall for these attacks? It's because attackers exploit very human psychological principles, and we will go over them real quick. So reciprocity is the idea that if someone does something nice for you, you will feel obligated to return the favor. And scarcity creates urgency, so think um things like act now, immediately, those kind of languages, limited time only. And authority works because we tend to trust and comply with people who seem like they are in charge of. And social proof is when you think if someone else is doing something, it must be okay to do. And commitment and consistency works because we as humans don't like feelings that we are contracting ourselves. So once we agreed to do something or have a certain beliefs, we naturally want to stay consistent with that. And likeness or commonality plays on the fact that we naturally trust people who feel similar to us or who we like. That natural inclination to help is huge one because most people genuinely want to help others. And finally, tactical empathy means understanding someone's emotions to build trust and rapport fast. So these are deeply wired in human tendencies, and that's what makes SE attacks so effective. All right, so now we understand why SE works. So let's talk about the two core techniques you need to actually do in this competition. So those are OSINT and Vishing, and we are going to spend some time on both of these. Let's talk about it. Um, so first one is if you have ever looked someone up online, scrolled through their social media before you met them, you've done OSINT before. So OSINT stands for Open Source Intelligence. It is collecting, evaluating, and analyzing publicly available data, and no hacking required here. So it's often called the lifeblood of social engineering because you simply cannot manipulate someone effectively if you don't know anything about them. And a shocking amount of information is just out there. OSINT is not just limited to Google searches. It includes any data available to the public, general public. So that includes social media, profiles, public records, news articles, and company websites. And information is just starting and supporting point of every engagement. So what qualifies as OSINT? First, it must come from publicly available information. So no hacking, no unauthorized access, nothing that requires you to break in anywhere. So it can be free or paid, but it just need to be on the public websites or public sites. And it also needs to be collected, analyzed, and shared in a timely manner with the right audience. And it has to address a specific intelligence requirement. You're not just collecting information for fun, you are collecting it with a purpose. So every piece of OSINT together should have a clear purpose within your engagement. So when you talk about virtual OSINT, what is online is a huge part of it. And public records, like people post their job titles on LinkedIn, their locations on social media apps. Some people post their daily routines out there. So companies list their employees on the website. So so public records, image, videos, websites, social media, news articles, and libraries, they are all online OSINT. So you would be surprised what you can piece it together about a person or an organization just from what's publicly available. So there are two modes of OSINT. One is passive and the other one is active. So passive OSINT means you do not engage with the target at all. So you are observing and you're not commenting on it. You don't send message or you don't, send the friend's request. You are just collecting whatever is already out there, and the target has absolutely no idea if you're looking up on them, if you're watching. So the big advantage here is there's low risk of attribution, meaning that it is hard to get caught. So on the other hand, active OSINT is when you actually engage with the target. So you might add the target as a friend. You might like their post. Even, you can send a message. And this is riskier because now you are leaving a trail. Um, you absolutely must blend into the environment. Your profile needs to look like a real and believable person. An active OSINT may also require special permission sometimes, depending on the scope of your engagement. Sometimes you need explicit permission before you even start interacting with the target. So active OSINT carries a higher risk of attribution. If you're not careful, the target could figure out what you're doing. Gathering information is not everything about OSINT. So the information has to be good to be useful. That means there are two dimensions to effective OSINT. The first is accuracy and reliability. Reliability. You should always verify and you should always verify and cross-reference information with multiple sources. And one source can be wrong. So finding other matching sources boosts your reliability. You also need to watch out for bias in your sources because not everything online is accurate. The but you and the second is timeless and relevance. An outdated piece, an outdated piece of information can send you in a wrong direction. So if you are calling someone about a job they left 2 years ago, you will lose credibility. So know the difference between historical context and real-time information. Make sure you are regularly updating throughout the engagement. So I'm gonna pause here.
Uh, One of our
Oh,
advisory board members.
okay. So I'm gonna stop share for a while.
Right, great, thank you. And we have one of our advisory board members here. So if I could get Davina Pruitt to say a couple of words.
Sure. So, Davina Pruitt-Mental, and I serve as a lead for academic engagement within the NICE program office over at NIST. And we are just thrilled to be a part of this. This is so important and such a different aspect to cybersecurity. So glad that we have so many of you interested in it. It's just a thrill to have you.
Great, thank you. And Davina has been a supporter of this event, a champion for this event ever since we started. So I'm glad we were able to snag you, and thank you for taking time on your Saturday to join her. And so appreciate it. All right, and back over to you, Juan He, to get us started.
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna share my screen again. Okay. So moving on. So we're gonna talk about vishing for now. So vishing is a voice phishing, and it is using phone calls or voicemails to trick somebody into giving a sensitive information or access. So the goal here is to get the target to tell you something for example your personal informations like password, credit card number, social security numbers, and their methods vary. It could be automated robocalls like those, your social security number has been suspended, those kind of messages, which is common. Or it could be a direct call from the attacker posing as IT support, for example, or a bank representative or government agency. So whoever makes the most sense in that context. And vishing has its own pros and cons. So on the easy side, you don't need to be physically you don't need to be physically there near the target. So no, you don't need to wear the costumes, no props. You don't have to awkwardly standing in the lobby pretending to belong there. You can do it from your home. So, but here's the hard part. So you only have your voice, so no body language cues to read, and no environment to work with, and you can't flash a badge or make an eye contact. So you only need your tone, pacing, and your confidence, and that's all you've got. And if you sound uncertain or nervous on the phone, people will pick up immediately, and that's actually a lot to manage in real time. And here are some tips to succeed in a vision call. So keep it simple. Don't overload the call with details because you will confuse yourself and confuse the target. And every unnecessary piece of information is just another thing that you can trip yourself up. And state objectives clearly. Know what you're gonna tell them, know what you're trying to get before you are on the phone, and leverage your natural character. Don't try to be someone that you're not. Use your own personality as the foundation because authenticity is your best weapon. And playing to your own strength will always outperform forcing a fake character that doesn't fit you. And use awkward silence. People feel genuinely compelled to feel that silence, and they often will give you more information when you make that silence. And people get uncomfortable to fill that gap. And when the target is uncooperative, don't argue with them, don't be aggressive, just stay cool, stay in character, and either pivot to a different objective or just exit out gracefully. And you can always come back to the call. So, and building comfort with vishing is all about practice. So, improv training is generally one of the best thing you can do. Improv teaches you to think on your feet, handle unexpected responses, and stay in character no matter what gets thrown at you, and all of which translate directly to vishing. So practice phone calls with your classmates, friends, or trusted, people. Get comfortable with the discomfort of being on and having to respond in real time. But do not place the live calls to real people or real company to practice it because that is not okay. And you can start practicing with your full script, but work towards trimming it down to just outline with key phrases and keywords, talking points, because a script sounds robotic. And if the conversation doesn't flow as you planned, you might panic. So the goal here is to sound completely organic and natural to gain people's trust.